Boom.
People of the internet, welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs in Quarantine with Gary Gaul, who asked me, hey, is that a real beard or is that a COVID beard that you have, Jamie? And I told him it was a COVID beard, but maybe it'll stay. Gary Gaul, thank you for being with us. You're up to some great things. I'm so excited to talk to you about where you come from and what you're up to, because you're going to be on people's radars for a while.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. This beard, I will say, is a product of last year's vacation. Not and the wife saying, "I love it, keep it." So
good.
Stay. It's gonna stay. And
you got permission, so that's good. I don't necessarily have permission for very much longer, so I'll take what I can get.
Awesome. No, I appreciate taking the time. This is a lot of fun. I think it's a great initiative. I love what you guys are supporting. It's awesome. Entrepreneurship. I guess I'll trace it back. 16-year-old. Figured out quite quickly school might not be the best option for me. So I had all kinds of crazy ideas. So launched this crazy idea that I'm really good with my hands and I'm going to fix things. So I start with my dad's lawnmower. Pull it all apart. I'm going to rebuild it. One little thing, tons of screws, tons of bolts, tons of springs. Dad comes home at 3:30 and the front driveway is loaded with parts. And he says, what are you going to do with that? I don't know how to put it back together. But I did realize that I wanted to be in control of my own destiny. So from lawnmower repair guy to renting Sea-Doos to backyard mechanics to eventually just launching real actual businesses and getting into construction and real estate development, and all along a passion. And the passion was the sport of soccer. So it took me a number of years and maybe 3 children to realize that I had to find a way to get myself into this whole soccer thing. Where could I help? Where could I be an asset? What could I do to change what's currently being done in the sport of soccer?
And so that's a great intro, really high level. I mean, that was a great summary. Now, soccer is your passion. First of all, what community are you playing for? Did you coach? And tell me about why soccer is the common denominator in everything that you do. This is the passion that we're going to be talking about, how you're converting it into a platform. Let's talk about your history with soccer.
I would say the biggest catalyst, I played all my life, played to a high level, and then my son took a liking to it at a young age. But I kind of always said I didn't want to be my son's coach. I wanted my son to show up to the pitch, be able to go out, be with his friends, not be afraid to swear, not be afraid to say something stupid knowing dad was close by. So my dad kind of played the same role with me, stood off to the side, allowed me to do my thing, and I always wanted to do that. And then at the age of 12, there was an event that happened at a game where I watched 3 boys, 12 years old, sit on a bench for the whole game. And then after the game, when I saw the look on their face, I said, sport's now being used for the wrong issue. It should be to build and develop kids and their self-confidence. Now, you put a 12-year-old on the bench for the whole game, the only message you've sent to him with lack of communication, but the message that's sent is you're not good enough. Now, that same 12-year-old is going to be hopefully one day getting married and potentially making life decisions for me when I'm 70 years old. But I want to strip him at 12 of his self-confidence and tell him he's not good enough to become someone. Then I called up 3 buddies of mine, a teacher I know at College Saint-Anne, and I said, I got this crazy idea. I want you to jump on board. We went and had a beer. I threw it out there, and they said, let's do it. Lo and behold, year 1, we have 9 kids training at 6 o'clock in the morning at Côte-de-Liesse, Complexe Sportif Côte-de-Liesse. Only place I can get turf. You got to leave your house at 5 a.m., minus 20 in the winter, and I had 9 incredibly supportive parents. We showed up every single Saturday, and that's what we're on to something.
This was beyond the association or the city. This was a private initiative that you were doing.
Yeah. So we are a nonprofit organization. So we're equal to any of the quote unquote clubs, but unfortunately, we can go on for hours talking about what the state of soccer is in the province of Quebec. But the province of Quebec does not recognize private academies.
Okay. So what's your academy called? Who's part of it, and what do you do?
Really far. So we're Montreal Rangers Football Club. Jonathan Daou, who's also a grade 5 teacher at Saint-Anne, is our sporting director. Our advisory board is incredible. I mean, so lucky. I've got James Baird, who's currently in Trinidad and Tobago, 20-year professional, played for Scotland, played in England, Iceland, essentially played everywhere. Jose Riga, who was at Standard Liège in Belgium, Blackpool in England, I mean, just a household name in Europe as far as Soccer Mind. He's on board. I have Ronald Hornack in Austria. I mean, we've essentially assimilated and brought together the greatest minds in football to take this from 9 kids and where we are going. I mean, look, COVID kind of slowed us down, or some may say it slowed us down. What it did, it actually gave me the opportunity to get off the pitch, get away from my other areas, and focus on truly developing this concept. So
amazing. And so how has the concept morphed since then? Because I know that when you're flirting with online platforms for training and other kinds of tools. Tell us, I mean, COVID hits, doesn't shut you down. Does it boost another element of the FC that, was kind of down here before, because now you have time and you need to be online? Tell us about how it forced you to propel into the new world.
It was I honestly say it's the best thing that happened to us. So immediately we flipped. We went online right away. We created online platforms so that our kids could continue training at home. So every Tuesday, our kids will log on through Zoom or any of the other social media platforms, and with one of their coaches, will actually have pre-taped exercise they have to perform live for their coach. So the coach will be giving instructions as it goes through. Every Thursday, we also do a roundtable event. So last week, we brought a buddy of mine from the New York Red Bull, Jared Stroud, on. He talked about the trials and tribulations of being an athlete, the fact that at 10 years old, he was told you'll never make it. So the kids loved it. Kids absolutely loved it. So every week we bring on different people so that the kids can interact. Communication has been primal. I mean, we daily send out stuff to our parents and also through social media, kind of just giving them an idea. We're still here. There's still options. There's still things we can do. Now, we've now morphed that into the next phase, and this is where it's really become exciting, because now we actually, on the 16th of May, will be returning to the outdoor pitch. So we will go from the screen to the actual pitch. Now, I know people are saying, okay, you guys are absolutely nuts. Like, this can't work. Now, let me first, so important that people understand this. This is optional.
Yeah.
My parents are not forced. This is truly an optional event, but what we've done is taken into consideration everything Santé Québec, Ministère d'Éducation, local authorities, all of their
you're following all the guidelines to a T.
Well, actually, to a T plus. So the guidelines are a distance of 1.5 meters. We're creating a grid where it's 3 meters. So your child will not be within 10 feet of another child, and they have their own respective grid.
Wow.
Parents have to remain in their car. A child has to show up with his own ball, his own water bottle. There's a hand washing station, so they wash their hands before and after.
Unreal.
Parents are only permitted to get out of their car. God forbid there's an injury, and they will be able to tend to their child 1v1.
Wow.
There'll be 3 instructors for every 10 children, because we want to also make people comfortable with understanding that there's not going to be people grouping. There's not going to be 2 and 3 kids going and chatting. We are there to keep them. But I also see it's not just about getting the kids out, getting them touching the ball. It's the social aspect. The fact now that we're going to regroup 8 and 9 and 10-year-olds, and they can, even if it's 10 feet apart, they can laugh, they can smile. Get them out of their house. Get them off the end of their driveway. My biggest concern is not that they're losing their touch on the ball. To be honest with you, I could care less about that. It's all the other things that concern me more. It's sitting in the house. The PS4s and the Nintendo. I'm dating myself by saying Nintendos, but all of these games, that's what concerns me. We got to get these kids back out.
At least you didn't say Atari. Obviously for you, soccer is a culture. Soccer is not just a business, but soccer is something that's in your DNA. It's in your children's DNA, and this is going to be how you're giving back to the community and how you're empowering kids. I mean, this is the purpose of youth sports: soccer, cricket, ringette, whatever it is. And you have this amazing opportunity to help reshape how new post-COVID-19 soccer is played. Now, what can you tell us from this experience? How do you think this will shape the world of sports, youth sports in particular, going forward?
My hopes are that we get away from a win-at-all-cost mentality, that we truly understand that the soccer pitch is the boardroom. So if we don't develop these children to win and not win, the idea to win to develop, we've proven it doesn't work.
Sure.
If we develop these children, we will in turn win. Now, what is winning? It's not about winning the game. The reality is 99.9% of all these kids will go on to hopefully continue to play as a pastime as they get older, but they're going to one day become taxpayers. So, our initiative is, how about we develop the player, expose them off to the university level, so whether it's NCAA or Canadian universities, let them get a top-level education, and then from there, they make their decision. They can go pro, awesome. There's nobody happier in the world than me knowing they went pro. But at the end of the day, if they come back a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, a nurse, a businessman, to me, that's where amateur sports needs to focus.
With all due respect, I think we have enough lawyers. I think we can push them to other professions. I think you'll agree.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think we've slowly but surely we saw it here in Quebec in hockey. It was slipping out of our grasp. I mean, parents fighting and killing each other in the stands at 8 to 9-year-old games. It's now transitioning into our other sports. I last year frequently saw fights on the sidelines between grown men.
Yeah, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
What's the message we're sending to the kids? That's my concern. What is the message we are giving our kids when, if you're not good enough to win, you shouldn't play? If you can't understand that mommy and daddy are yelling on the sidelines because we want to win probably more than you, which is the saddest part, how do we expect this child at any point in time in his life to become a functioning member of society? It's impossible.
Gary, tell us, how do people get involved? I mean, parents that are listening that like what they hear, how do they get involved with you? How do they get included into your club? Drop us a little bit of a pitch on how people can get involved.
Easiest way, of course, social media. So they can pick us up, whether it's on Instagram, Montreal Rangers, through Facebook, Montreal Rangers FC, website, www.montrealrangers.com. I'm always available. My phone number, my personal cell number is plastered all over all of those. I'm there to answer questions, concerns. We do evaluation processes, because I also am a firm believer in sometimes, even with the best of development, it doesn't serve to put your child in a position to be stressed. It may not be for him. Baseball might be for him. Football might be for him. Or another sport might be for him. So we're transparent. So we do run twice, sometimes 4 times a year, what we call evaluation camps. Right now, the best way probably is we're opening all our platforms for free. So essentially what we're doing is we have a nominal fee. So we have a $5 fee for all of our show-up outdoor events. 100% of the proceeds are being donated. So we're not, this is not about, a lot of people are going to sit there and saying, yeah, you're just getting back to it so you can start generating revenues. Absolutely not. 100% of all the money coming in is directly going out to any of the foundations and everything here in the West Island. So online platform, Tuesdays they log in, they can train with some of our top coaches. Thursdays they can key into some of the stuff, some of the people we're chatting with all over the world. We'll be bringing more professional players. We got some massive announcements coming over the next 2 weeks. These kids talk to essentially idols. Forget about just regular players, idols. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I know it's difficult for people to hear this. I think COVID-19 was probably the best thing that could have happened to the Montreal Rangers.
Gary, what's the first thing you're going to do post-COVID? Are you going to throw a big party? You're going to go for a nice dinner in a crowded space? What are you going to do when this is over, man?
Well, it's not so much what I'm going to do. My kids are going to drag me for some safari ice cream. So that's something. Just, you know what? Just get out and socialize. I think it's been difficult times. I think we need to, I don't know, how long before you shake a client's hand? I mean, we're Quebec. Yeah. Supposed to hug and kiss each other on the cheek. The bull again.
Gary, I look forward to seeing you at the Safari ice cream line. It was a pleasure, man. It's very refreshing to hear the perspective. Youth sports, for me, key platform for kids to develop. Keep doing what you do, brother. Great stuff. I'm going to be in touch with you after this call because there's a lot of things we need to discuss. And be good. Thank you for supporting the Lakeshore. It really means a lot. And I look forward to seeing you on the soccer field, man.
Awesome. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Lots of fun.
Take care, bud.
Be good. Thanks.